Howdy, folks. Friday Night Live. We made it back.
We have survived.
Headache.
If it's any kind of residual, he might cough a little bit. I might cough occasionally.
Yeah.
But we, Danica first got COVID.
Danica brought it into the house. I mean, it's bound to happen. So many people, everyone's gotten it.
And then I got it 5 days later after she had it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to sanitize like crazy in the house and go nuts. And I thought, we're going to get this. At the most, I'll get it because I'm so close to Danica. But John and Chase, they won't. Well,
I said we're all going to get it.
5 days after myself, John and Chase got it as well. So
you're pretty sick.
Yeah, I think I fared probably the worst out of everybody.
Shannon has an autoimmune disease, so we had a feeling that she might. We were more worried about Shannon than anybody else.
But I would say probably after day 3, day 4, I was feeling pretty good. So happy to be back. Really excited to be back.
Like last week we could have done it, but we would have been coughing through. We felt well enough.
But there was way too much coughing, so
yeah. We were gonna call it the phlegm show. We thought it'd be in bad taste. No, but it was what it was.
Fraser said, yes,
hey, Fraser J.
Sort that thumbnail. Still on the wrong side, though, guys.
We're actually on the right side of what we see, but the thing is on the backward side, in the back. Because I'm really on this side, and she's really on that side. But it should be backwards on here. See, the logo's backwards. Hold on a second.
Okay, yeah.
Hi,
guess. Kim. Glad you're all feeling better. Thank you so much. Nice to have you on with us tonight.
Is it Kim Trickle?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kim, one of the biggest supporters.
Thank you, Kim. Glenn Ryan, glad you guys are feeling better.
Hey,
Thanks,
Glenn.
JP Milanos, hope you're feeling better. Watched a video of CTA in Hawaii with Jeff Coffey on bass. Sounded good.
Yeah. Isn't he amazing? And Jeff is one of the classiest guys I've ever interviewed in my life. He sent me his new album while we were moving, and I never got back to him, and I shall. He's just a class guy. His wife's wonderful. They're just a beautiful family. Love them.
Hi, Darren.
Darren.
Need to invent a pressure washer sanitizer to use inside homes that won't damage items. Yeah,
Darren, you're fantastic. I'm starting to rely on you. When I make a mistake, something goes wrong, Darren's right there to let me know. He says, okay, they've got the wrong thing. It's private today. And Darren, you're a lifesaver. Keep doing that. I don't mind at all.
Michael Jones made it so far without COVID. I may be one of those. We thought we were going to be one of those without, but there we go. Hi, Ed. Glad to see you two are feeling better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gene Phillips, glad you're all back and feeling better. John at Village Advisory, welcome back. Looking great. Have you lost weight or something? You're coming in loud and clear in flooded Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, right on. I lost nothing. Well, I maintained. I didn't gain any weight because lately we've been working heavy on our Patreon account. Please join our Patreon to get early access to our videos. But I've been going crazy putting extra stuff on there. Also, parts of videos, now and then I'll cherry pick and I'll go, we're just going to put that on our Patreon. It'll never see the light of day anywhere else. That's for the next tier, not the first tier. But for the most part, if you want to get early access to any of our videos that we're doing, we're looking at an interview with Chaz Palminteri, the actor, for Nail Sheet, because we're relaunching Nail Sheet. And some Canadian actors, friends of mine from Vancouver, who you've all seen, but until I firm that up, I'm not going to say who it is, because you can't live, when we lived in Vancouver, you can't live in Vancouver without knowing some actor who's done something. You're going to know an actor, but you're also going to know an actor who's actually done some pretty sizable things, especially if you're in the media, and I was, right? So there you go.
W. Worden said, wife got it at Bush. She is okay.
Good. You know what? COVID's going to end up being one of those things where people die of the flu every year. Most don't. That's the thing. A few do, most don't, and it's always bad. But COVID will end up being that kind of thing,
Rick May, welcome back and greetings from Ohio.
Hey,
Hi, Rick. Time to play that song from Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Whack. That's so good.
Good one.
Hit that like button, folks. Rick, you kill me. That's so funny. Please. Definitely hit the like button if you can.
Coming through, man.
Melody R. Hey, hello, Melody. Nice to have you back.
Melody was sharing a lot of stuff from her lineage, her genealogy from her family going way back.
Glenn Ryan said Chad is a good actor.
Yes, Academy Award nomination. We have a connection through an agency of a gentleman I've been working with for music for a few years. So it'd be really nice if we could get him on. And I'd like to interview actors. I've always wanted to. And like I said, I know a few. So we certainly have... The fact that this channel has, it's over there, our 100,000 subscribers gives us leverage for the other channels. So there you go.
W. Worden says breaking Benjamin rocks.
Breaking Benjamin?
Benjamin
Oh,
rocks.
Okay.
Darren says, if I had the wish to be a robot, I wouldn't worry about illness.
A robot?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
Elton John has a song, I Am a Robot.
Jack Collins, hello everyone. I'm from Louisiana and
Hey.
I hope everyone is doing well.
Thanks for coming on, Jack.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Fraser J. Hey, John, not sure if you got it, but I sent you a clip of me singing via Instagram as we follow each other.
Oh, you sent it to me on Instagram? I never check messages on Instagram, but I'll have to. I'll check it out. Sorry.
Pulsar Lights, I got COVID July. I had worse hangovers in my life, sick for maybe 2 days.
Really? Well, for me, and no one else in this house really drinks, but I said, Shannon, I'm going to get some scotch. And you know, the saying in this house is scotch kills everything. Unfortunately, it kills the good stuff too. But anyway, it was a scotch week for me.
I would say probably after day 3 was my worst, and probably after a week I was feeling pretty good. You know, still the remnants, a little bit of it, but feeling quite a bit better.
I had high school friends coming over, Jody, my friend Jody Nason and Stephen Kenny. They came over to see, for the Canadian fans would know, even though the Stampeders had a few, 2 U.S. hits. Stampeders came, and Jody had some operation or something he had to go check out. And I told him, oh, by the way, we just got over COVID. So we all tested again to make sure. We knew we were negative at that point, and we were negative. So it was really nice to see him.
W. Worden says, check out these girls' plush. Very good with Bush and Alice.
Oh, cool.
Hike with Mike. Hey, folks. Hey,
Hike with Mike.
Mike, welcome.
Nice to have you on here. Thanks for coming on.
We're actually all caught up.
Hey, we're caught up. We were going to do a juicy headline, and this is the reality of doing a show like this. We had to go get groceries. So usually if I have a headline, I'll do research before. You know, the biggest misconception with anyone who does a channel like this is that we just pops it out of our head. Friday Night Live, I do, obviously, but I've been a radio announcer for 40 years, so if I don't know my music, I'd be an idiot. But when you're doing a specific topic, you want to hyper-focus a little bit. Like for instance, we're doing a thing on the first Eagles album coming up in the next week or two. We're going to dive deep into the first Eagles album. And my good friend Jason Close, who wrote a lot of the 5 Dead People who you know never got fanfare. Jason's a great writer. Jason writes for me in point form though, and it's rare. He hasn't written for me in, I don't know, a year, something like that. So most of the stuff you get is basically from Shannon or from me and or. So we're going to be doing that in the next little while with special guest Bernie Ledden, Randy Meisner, older interviews. Jack Tempchin, who was Glenn Fry's songwriting partner. Alan Fry, who is Glenn's brother. And someone else in there. Oh, Henry Diltz, who did the album cover for Desperado and the first album when they went out there and they did the peyote thing in the desert and took the first album cover. There you go. Hi, Shan.
Hey.
What's going on?
People are just kind of saying hi back and forth.
Well, that's
Jen,
nice.
It's nice to see that on.
Oh, by the way, I got interrupted. There's a thing coming up for YouTube. You might have heard about it. It's kind of a cool thing. If your friends are making, it's going to be something where you can start chatting with other people who follow the channel a little bit more. An easier way. I don't know what it looks like. I don't have a beta version or anything, but it's going to be a way for you just to chat with other people who follow this channel. And not all channels will get it in the beginning. I got an invite or something. I don't know what they sent me. I have to ask my son. But anyway, we're going to have it maybe a little earlier. Maybe since I've been sick, I haven't followed through on my emails. It might even be out now. So I'll be checking that in the next few days.
Fraser J said, I've had COVID twice now, and it was like a horrendous man flu.
Really? Well, man flu, what do you mean by that? Is that the man flu or a real man flu? Yeah.
John at Village Advisory says, what music played in your supermarket stuck in 1980s?
I like music. I like elevator music. I worked at a station called, do I have a sticker there up for it? No. A CKXM in Edmonton. And they used to be a beautiful music station. You know, Tie Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree, done by 1001 Strings, Madhavani stuff. And I remember walking in there, and it was a reminder that I really liked it. But what we did is the audience was literally dying. So we replaced the elevator music with new age music, the Wyndham Hill stuff, Will Ackerman, Alex DeGrassi, Liz Story, George Winston, Philip Alberg, and the Narada stuff, David Lawns, Michael Jones, all those guys. So I'm very well versed in new age music because I programmed it for quite a few years. So I like new age music, but I also like elevator music. I listen to the elevator music channel on XM, which is right beside the spa channel if you have XM. And it reminds me of being a kid in Montreal where I heard a lot of elevator music. Love is Blue, you know, which today sounds like elevator music, but it's beautiful.
Paul J. Ingram said he was supposed to see Ringo. Why couldn't the All-Stars continue the tour? A lot of legends for the money.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's Ringo, you know, and people go see Ringo to say they've seen a Beatle. It's something to see a Beatle. I've never seen a Beatle. I don't think they could have. I think people would have dropped out, you know. I'm glad you thought it was good enough. That's really cool. But I don't think they could.
Mara says, welcome back, sending prayers of healing for you and your family.
Thank you.
Alex Knight. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex from Boston.
Yeah, hope you're feeling better.
Thanks, Alex. You're such a great supporter. Appreciate you.
Brian Johnson said, hi, all.
Hey, Brian.
And W. Warden said, what the heck is that screen behind you guys? Henry Cool.
Oh, it's the screen that we always use. It's a green screen, and it's just the screen that we've been using for years. I was gonna change it because as you can see beside Shannon, there's John Lennon signing Mark David Chapman's autograph, and that was the story we did on Mark David Chapman. And people keep saying I don't want to see Mark David Chapman. I understand that. I'm gonna stop saying his name. There he is, and. But instead of changing that part of the screen, we're going to change the screen completely to something newer. These are all very old stories.
Glenn Ryan says YouTube is making lots of changes coming up.
Yeah, they really are. And the fact that they let us... Oops. They let us... let me make sure we're still... Oops.
I'm off here.
There we go. We lost our We lost our
Sorry.
It's got to come on. There we go. I think we're good. Can you guys hear us? Make sure. Shannon knocked the mic down. Professionalism.
I'm using my iPad as a prop here, and then I realized, it's going down.
Everyone can hear us okay? Because I don't have a mic meter on here. Just let me know, because I touched a button on the microphone. We're using this microphone here is a Blue Yeti, and it's like both 5-6 years old, but I find they work really, really well.
Brandon says, welcome back, John and Shannon. Curious to know when you'll be doing the interview with Graham Goebel.
Graham Goebel. I've got to get a hold of him. He emailed me 2 weeks ago, and I asked him who did the trailer for the release of the new greatest hits, and it was his son who does film. And we talked a little bit about that, but then I got sick, so I've got to follow through with that. We're going to release finally, because I can't get an interview with Ann Wilson. Don't get me started. I wanted her to talk about what the other guys were saying, basically, about her. It wasn't really bad, but they're disappointed in certain things about Hart. So we're going to release Steve Fawcett and Michael DeRozier. I keep saying tomorrow. It's all done. It's all finished. It's all clipped together. I just have to do the intros and outros of it. So we have that. We have another Graham Goebel interview that I've never released. But now I might talk to Glenn Shorrock, B. Birtles, and Graham Goebel for the new greatest hits. I'm hoping.
Pulsar Lights at Rock History Music. What does John think about rock music cruises? Worth the money?
I'd like to go on a cruise. Shannon's a little more reluctant because, after having COVID and having an autoimmune disease, you just don't want to. We're wearing our mask in stores because we have to. Plus, we were very careful not to spread it. We didn't want to spread it to anybody else. Long before we were negative, we were fine walking around. We just hack it up a little bit. Like that.
Mark Shoesmith. Hey guys, welcome back. Hope the family's well. Thank you. Dwayne Walatica. Greetings from Edmonton, Alberta. Hey.
Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne comes on here a lot. Appreciate your support, Dwayne. Thank you.
W. Warden said, I met Zach Starr in Vegas with Oasis, and they unfortunately sucked.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot he used to drum for Oasis. Yeah, before The Who. Yeah, they're they're just not happy people.
Gerald Lee. Hi, John and Shannon. So glad that you're both doing better. I love your channel. Thanks.
Thank you.
Waza Oz says, hey guys from Gold Coast, Australia. Hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. Speaking of LRB.
Dwayne says, I saw Paul McCartney live in Edmonton in 2012. I saw Ringo Starr and his all-star band live in Edmonton in 2015. I saw Zach Starkey drumming for The Who in Edmonton in 2016.
Wow.
So, wow.
Chase saw Zach because Chase saw The Who. And I don't know if he made the connection then. It was like a few years ago with his old guitarist, Jackson. Chase couldn't find kids his own age that were good enough to play with in Edmonton. I'm sure they were there. He just never found them. Excuse me. Oh, God. Anyway, it's been a long day. Anyway, he ended up playing with adults instead. And he's trying to form a band now because Chase is going to be 19 in November. So he can go into the bars and play gigs, which is kind of a neat thing for him. He bought himself a car. He works at Costco. He's graduated over a year now. He's pretty happy. He likes it here.
Matt Fafnir, looking forward to seeing Terry Chambers and Ecstasy playing 70s, 80s Ecstasy songs in Atlanta.
Oh, XTC, yeah.
One of the best artists.
Yeah, XTC was a great band. Andy Partridge.
John Adams says, I hope you're feeling better. I had COVID. It was terrible. You guys got the best channel on YouTube.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And thanks to everyone who donated, by the way, in the past few months, especially when we got sick. Because if I don't work, we don't make money, And it's interesting. We had a few people who came on and emailed me and said, John, you're not putting out as much stuff. And we hadn't made the announcement yet. I just said, well, it's just not a big, everyone gets COVID. I don't want to make a big deal like, oh, poor us. But if I can't work, I don't make money. And a few people donated money on our PayPal because there's a PayPal link in the description of all the videos.
I think one of the biggest things for you is that for you it was in your voice. So that was the biggest thing
I
for
felt
you.
Fine.
But you just, you couldn't go on. It just...
I had to get off the radio station for a whole week. I phoned my program director up in Vancouver and said, listen, man, I can't, because I'm not in that city. You don't want me on the air. Trust me. And she said, Jasmina said, oh, God, of course not. That's no problem at all.
Transparent Media Truth, Shannon, a mic drop. That was about it.
Yeah.
Is it look stable now, John? Is that okay?
I think it's okay. You can't lean on it.
Hike with Mike question. Did you hear about the Ronnie James Dio biography, Dreamers Never Die?
No, I don't gravitate towards his music that much. But the strange thing the Ronnie James Dio Facebook page, people were saying that was really him. Like, I know he died a few years ago, but someone had told me that actually was him. I don't really believe, I find that hard to believe, but I was friends with him on Facebook.
Dwayne says, I saw Heart 5 times live.
Wow. I only saw them once. Ann and Nancy were both there.
H2O Field is saying Styx and Nancy are playing here in Lethbridge tonight.
Really? No kidding. You know what? I still think we're in Alberta. I almost said we could have gone up and seen them, even though now, since August of last year, we're on the other side of the country. We're on the East Coast.
H2O, Fraser says, Oh, P.S. Love the drumming video you put up of your son Chase on Instagram. A great player, a real future talent.
Thank you. He kind of was a child prodigy and kind of didn't give it up, but didn't like the pressure of putting up videos, learning a song just to put up a video. He didn't like it, and he didn't like the attention he was getting at school. You know, people were being very nice to him. But as a kid, he said, you know, because Neil Peart sent him drumsticks when he saw him play Tom Sawyer when he was 8. And if you look up Tom Sawyer Chase, you'll find the video on YouTube. And he won. He got in the top 10 of the national competition for kids ages whatever to 19. Excuse me. Sorry. Anyway, he didn't like the attention, and then maybe a year ago when we moved here, he's got a Pearl Masters kit, a beautiful kit. He started picking it up again. He said, you know what, I think I want a gig. I want to go in clubs and gig.
David Norris says, what do you think about all this Journey drama right now?
Notice that I haven't reported on it. I know a few guys who are Journey fanatics who report on it. One guy specifically, he's pretends he knows inside information, and he really doesn't. Because I know people who know him. Anyway, I just decided to. I don't know. I've just decided not to go into it. Plus, I got sick around that time, and I just didn't want to. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of looked at it and I got overwhelmed. I went, I know I'm supposed to report on this. I report on Journey all the time. But at that point, I just thought, it's just, God. Does anybody really know what's going on?
Melody R says Brian Vollmer's mom passed away.
Oh.
Her funeral was today.
Is that right? Yeah. Like, I think I told you, Melody, I talked to Brian when they released their last album, but we never got around to doing anything.
Rick says, John, have you heard the new live album from Creedence Clearwater Revival?
I was just watching the special on Netflix. Remember this morning? I was just watching it, which was who you picked out who was narrated. Oh, Jeff Bridges. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just started watching it, but Shannon says our son who stayed up till. What are you watching? The Watcher last night?
We watched. Yeah, it was on Netflix, and it was like 7 episodes. So we basically railroaded it. And then we were just like, okay, just one more episode. Next one, it was like 2:30 in the morning. We're like,
I was long asleep at 11.
And of course, we had a whole slew of stuff to do today. So passports and you name it, we're so busy. But the thing was, John decided he wasn't going to watch it because
I knew the ending because I knew the story.
No, I'm
not going to say no. I knew the ending, and I've watched it on like Dateline NBC's or 2020 or whatever, and because I knew what happens at the end, I went, yeah, I'm not. If they stay true to the real story, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. But a lot of people really like it. The acting was amazing.
Yeah, well, you just felt like you had no idea. It's like a whodunit. So
yeah.
Sorry. Let me
I will say the neighbors part that didn't happen. That didn't happen in real life.
Hike with Mike. How did you guys fare with the remnants of Hurricane Fiona? Rare for storms to make it up that far north. We did get, here in Moncton, we got really high winds here. We actually had to get some of our shingles lifted on the house. So, of course.
We're like this. It's a long road. Oops, sorry. There's a long road like this. And we're at the end of the road, like here, before it turns.
So we get winds from all angles. Like we don't have any buffer from other houses around us because we're really exposed.
And the wind would go down after our house because we're on a hill. We have a walkout basement in our house, so our backyard goes vroom like that. And that was a good sound effect.
But we did fare well here. Other parts. Of the East Coast did fare as well as Nova Scotia, PEI.
Anyone who knows New Brunswick, Shediac.
Yeah, got hit pretty bad.
And we have 2 huge trees which are on our property. On one side, they're fairly big trees, and another one, the same kind of tree. What kind of tree is it? Do we know?
I don't know, but some branches went down for sure.
Yeah.
Nate says, hello, John and Shannon. It's good to see you guys are doing well. I really enjoy the channel and the outstanding interviews. Be safe and hope you're all having a full recovery.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We're just reading about people with long COVID today. We don't know. You know someone? Do you know someone with long COVID?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was your former workmate.
Glenn Ryan, Chase is getting really good behind the kit.
Thank you. Well, he's what's happening with Chase is he's getting good again, because he had his chops up when he was like by the time he was 10 years old, well, by the time he was 8, he was doing the Purdy shuffle, he was doing the Bonham shuffle, and he was doing the Rosanna shuffle. He had them all down. He knew Fool in the Rain really well, both parts, and he was doing things like Rope by Foo Fighters. He was doing, oh God, so much Fleetwood Mac stuff he was drumming on. A lot of Rush. Yes, Roundabout. What else? What's that song? Oh, Dance on the Volcano by Genesis. He did that. Dun, 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 dun.
Paul Ingram says, did you see Lukather sitting in with the Jimmy Kimmel House Band?
I saw pictures. I didn't see
Tour is postponed, but he refuses to sit on his you-know-what.
He won't do it. He can't stay still. Luke can't do it. I haven't talked to him in I think, over a year now. I just don't talk to him anymore.
Paul Sarlight said Van Halen drama with doing a tribute to Eddie. What's the deal with that?
You know what the deal with that was? Because Wolfgang wouldn't do it. I think in the long run, you need Wolfgang. You saw him at the Foo Fighters Taylor Hawkins Memorial. He was just tearing it up. And he certainly could walk into that and do that, but he wants to be his own guy. And I mean, he kind of got into the industry as far as national attention through being the new... What?
Your phone. You touched your phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
He kind of got into as being the new bass player for Van Halen. I think he wants to be his own man. But it's strange. There's such a longing for him to get on there. To me, the perfect thing would be Sammy Hagar and Eddie and Diamond Dave to get on there and to do it together. But there's so much. People are just saying they don't like each other. Right? I wish they could do it with pieces of the band, but you'd have to have 2 lead singers. I mean, I've always wanted the 2 lead singers together. I know there's 3, but really there's 2 main ones.
Scott Elford says, John, have you watched the Netflix doc concert for CCR? Very good.
Just started watching it today. But Chase was sleeping because they stayed up all night watching The Watcher, and it was his day off today, and he went to bed twice. And he's not one of those typical late teenagers that sleeps in all day because he works at Costco. But he was out today. He's watching Danica upstairs right now. We both got a haircut today.
Scott says, nice to see both of you upright again. Stay well. Love your show. Thanks.
It is upright. It's
literally.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
W. Worden said, met John CCR in Sun Valley, CA in Fox Run Studios. He had locked out and...
What?
And Shell, tell me.
I don't know what that means. I don't know who Shell Tammy is.
The Who.
Oh, but the Who.
Roger King says, you guys are great.
Thank you.
Glenn Yocklin, great show. Going to see John Petrucci and Mike.
Like Portnoy.
In November with Neil gone. Portnoy is king.
Yeah, Portnoy is people were talking about replacements for Neil Peart. His name came up the most, more than anybody else. It was Mike Portnoy right across the board, and a lot of people had their own ideas. But as far as we're really close together, it's like we're married or something.
Hike with Mike. We lucked out. The original landfall was supposed to be in my area of Florida, but the poor folks in Southwest Florida really got hammered.
Yeah, it was almost hard. It was almost impossible to watch at some points. And I told Shannon, no, we're going to watch this. We need to know what's going on. I never want to be one of those people who doesn't want to know. But it was hard to watch, and it happened here, but not on that level whatsoever. It was tropical storm by the time it got to where we're at in the East Coast.
Brian Johnson said, yeah, I'm in Orlando, and we got pretty slammed with rain and wind from Ian, and my friends in Fort Myers Beach just lost everything.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was watching it come through towards Fort Myers as it went into Florida. And I was watching the path because they were, a lot of times tropical storm will go like this, right? It's like a snake as it slowly changes its trajectory, my favorite word, but you don't know exactly where it's going. So we were watching, but as it was entering Fort Myers, I remember going, oh boy.
W. Warden said, my hairdresser's mom passed away from COVID and she wasn't old or sickly or anything.
Wow.
Mike Smith, greetings from River City. Keep on rolling, keep on rocking.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in.
Karen Riley, hi John and Shannon. Glad to see you're back up since having COVID. Missed you. Hi.
Thanks. It was
Thanks,
nice,
Karen.
Also, Rock History Book is one of those things we do. It's a disguise today in history. So I'll go on because we want the product to be evergreen. If I was doing this today in history, and then this birthday, and I'm going, yeah, but tomorrow no one's going to watch this video. So Shannon says, why don't you just concentrate on one thing, like the da-da story of the day, and that way, all you're doing is saying it happened on May 25th. Well, in June, that doesn't matter. It's a juicy story. But looking for the really, really juicy stuff. A lot of research. We're doing a crap load of research, but I had to stop doing those, and we'll continue doing those hopefully tomorrow because Shannon's written some stuff.
Darren says Steve Lukather can't sit still, and he plays on Don Henley's album I Can't Stand Still.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Johnson, it was a mind blower to see the causeway gone, unbelievable. And I lived on Fort Myers Beach for 9 years, and to see it leveled, I was down there 3 days ago. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, Fort Myers, pardon my ignorance, Fort Myers is where the base is, right? Don't they have an Air Force base there? Or is it Navy?
Noah says, I hope Ringo gets better. I guess Ringo has
He had COVID, yeah. We'd know by now. At that age, you never know, right? And when you're at a certain point, anything could... God, I'm 62. At a certain point, you go, anything could go wrong.
Jack Collins says, don't forget to give them a thumbs up. It means something. Thank you. Please hit that like button.
Like our video. Yes, that's really nice. Thank you. I see them here.
Paul Ingram says, CVS Drugs has the best elevator music. I hear great 80s songs whenever I pick up prescriptions.
I love elevator music.
Right?
Can't help it. I mean, you can't help what you like. And you can't ever tell someone...
Always liked elevator?
Since I was a little boy. Like, it started with Love is Blue, Paul Moriat. And I've got on this computer, Shannon's father gave me this computer when he decided he only wanted a laptop. And they pared their house down. They wanted it into a condo. And, Shannon's father is so generous. He always says, hey, John, you want this? I went, sure. One day he said, hey, John, you want the Subaru? I went, what? I said, a Subaru. And, they gotten in contact with a Subaru and for a good deal. And
best car we ever had.
One of the best. I say that.
Well, it was good in the snow.
But when I was
Alberta, it was great.
When I was a program director, I got a Volvo XC90, a 6-cylinder, and that at that point was the best car I ever drove. Then they gave me an 8-cylinder with just 8 gas, not the new model, the older model, the one before that, which they kept forever. And then I had anyway, he gave me the Volvo for $1. He wanted the $1, and that's it. That makes it a deal.
Not the Volvo.
The Subaru Outback.
Subaru.
I'm tired, sorry. Anyway, we drove that, for 8 years, 10 years?
It was great. Fraser J says, I see a lot of myself in Chase, sometimes not feeling comfortable playing in front of a lot of people, but at 47, I really regret it now. Savor the moment.
You're 47? You look good for 47.
What have you got to lose?
Yeah, and I think it's important for him now. He also knows, Chase at a point now where he's finally ready. I mean, he had a really great girlfriend in Calgary, but they drifted apart to becoming friends. And they're still very close. He talked to her yesterday. But he's looking for a girlfriend here, and he realizes chances are he probably might meet someone through music. So, yeah.
Dog Groomer says, hey, hello from Miramichi. Always
Hey.
nice to catch you guys live. What did I miss so far, LOL?
We're just chasing our noses, following our noses tonight. We don't have a real topic. We just wanted to come back and say we're here. And by the way, Dog Groomer, do you know Jody Nason? I wonder if you know Jody Nason. He's an old high school friend of mine. He was one of my best friends in high school. He was just here the other day going to see the Stampeders.
And Melody R says Brian Vollmer has a home in Fort Myers. It's still standing.
Really? I didn't know that. Well, as a Canadian band, they've done better than I thought. Good for them. That's nice to hear.
Darren says, John, do you start singing elevator music on elevators? I hope the other riders give you applause.
I can't sing to save my life. I can't sing.
You're a heck of a better... He's a better singer than I am. I can't sing.
I'm the greatest voice in the world next to Shannon. Shannon's brilliant. She is one of those... She beats me at everything. She's one of those, does her homework on Friday instead of Sunday night girls.
I'm so nice about it. I said, can I sing right now? I can sing, right? You don't mind if I sing? And you're like, most times you're like, yeah, sure. And sometimes you're like, no.
No, you because you know you can't sing and it's cute.
Thanks.
Because you know you can't sing. So when she sings, it's really cute. And, yeah, she sings ABBA really, really, in a really badly and cute way. What?
Hike with Mike says, whenever I hear the word elevator music, the song Girl from...
Ipanema?
Yeah, always comes to mind for some reason. That song was made for elevator music. It's so true.
I guess he screwed. I don't mean literally. Oh, I don't know. Astro Gilberto. I remember there was a story about that whole thing. I'm thinking of working on it. It's not good for the. Well, as far as Brazilian music, I mean it's kind of brought Brazilian music to the forefront.
Dog Groomer says no, he doesn't.
Okay, I was just curious. It's just one of those Miramichi things. Hey, you know Paul? You're from Miramichi. Do you know Jack?
Noah Knockman says Neil Young just announced a 50th anniversary box set of Harvest.
Yeah, Harvest. Well, that's the album. That's the go-to album if you're going to, it's like Blue or Court and Spark for Joni Mitchell. If you're going to have an album, it's like, well, the Beatles are harder to, it's like Pet Sounds for the Beach Boys, right? There's certain albums, it's like Frampton Comes Alive for Frampton. There's that quintessential album that's the signature, not song, but signature album almost for Rumors, right? Fleetwood Mac, Hotel California, the Eagles, that kind of stuff. Michael Jackson Thriller. Oh, sorry.
Gennaro says, greetings from Montreal, Quebec.
Hey!
The weather is starting to get cold, so I booked a trip in December for the Hotel Dreams in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
Punta Cana, yeah.
Yes, my wife is going also. Nice.
So I'm talking to Shannon the other day, and I said, Shanny, let's, I call her Shanny. I call her Cookie. That's my nickname for, took her a long time to accept that.
I still don't accept it, but that's okay.
You said I could call you Cookie.
Okay.
Just waiting for a response. Just waiting.
Okay.
So I call her once I was at...
I just said I want to go back to the Okanagan. We said, let's go somewhere.
I said, let's go to Florida. She says, can we go to BC? I said, let's go to Florida.
I'm a BC girl. I want to go.
I've never been to Florida.
For like 2-3 years now. I want to
Well,
go
if
back.
we do well with YouTube, we can go both places. I doubt it, but anyway.
Sweet Savage, John, your take on bands using backing tracks.
If people want to go to it, it's been done for years. It's been going on for years for a lot of bands. The biggest thing about not that it was backing tracks, but the biggest thing about Kiss Alive is it wasn't really that live. And that's a different argument, I understand, but I don't know. I like Kiss Alive. After Destroyer, I stopped really buying their albums, but the one after that, I don't know. If people are accepting it, should they tell people? I think they should tell people.
Leo Fox says, if you could play in a tribute band, which band would you pick? Yeah, I'd like to know. You could be in a tribute
that's a
band.
great question.
Which one would you pick?
I don't know. April Wine. I like April Wine music still. I'm listening to a lot of Jude Cole these days. I like Richard Marx a lot these days. Toto.
So what tribute band would you play in?
Genesis. I'm naming all of them.
You play in all those bands?
Yeah. You'd be Pet Shop Boys and Tears for Fears. Shannon loves Tears for Fears. Women in Chains, baby.
Pulsar Lights. Rumor has it the last truly live album was Live at Leeds in 1970.
Oh, The Who. Yeah.
Brian Johnson says, I call my wife Toots.
I remember I asked my ex-wife, I was just talking to her the other day. We get along well with my ex-wife and her husband. And I remember when I was with Lynn, I don't know why I got get this is the most awful nickname. I wanted to call her Googs. Googs. I don't know where I got it. And I remember telling Shannon once, I'm going to call you Googs. And she went, what is that? She said, what, you tried it out on your ex-wife? Now you're trying it out on me? Yeah, all these guys watching, tell your wife either tonight or tomorrow and get back to me. I'm going to start calling you Googs. Googs. Crazy. We should make that a short tomorrow.
That is so bad.
What is it?
Gennaro says, any idea which will be the song of the year for 2022?
Unfortunately, I never really pay attention to that kind of stuff. It's a good question, but I'm not I play at Move 103, the station that I work for in Vancouver. I play like Justin Bieber and all those new bands. Anything that's on the chart, we play. Taylor Swift. But it's not music that I would buy. But half of it I like. I have to admit, half of it I think it's pretty good. Even some Maroon 5, even though a lot of their stuff sounds the same.
So I'm just curious, is any one of you planning on going to see any concerts between now and the end of the year? I'm just curious if anybody has anything lined up.
Yeah, what do you got?
And if so, who are you going to go see?
And chances are they got the tickets, so...
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
we don't have any plans to see any concerts for the rest of the year, but I'd like to know if any of you have anything lined up.
Well, I could have gotten tickets possibly for the Stampeders last night and joined my friends, not sitting with them, of course. But after having COVID, I just thought, no, I'm not going to... I mean, I would have worn a mask. I would have been fine, but I just didn't feel like...
Darren says, Shannon, John, BC has record-breaking hot temperatures. There's haze and smoke. You know what?
She grew up she knows BC really well because Shannon grew up in Penticton.
And it's unbelievable how much hotter the temperatures are. And, of course, you always have the risk of forest fires.
I'd rather not go back, but... Shannon liked to go back, and there's a saying in our house, happy wife, happy life. What?
Hike with Mike, future show idea. What's the greatest rock band from each country? That's a great idea.
Wow!
You better write that down.
What the heck? That is great! That is... Oh, when you...
So Brian says that's bad, John, so he must be talking about Googs. Because that's just... There's nothing good out of that. Like, you can't even... It's not even cute. It just sounds... No,
it's not cute.
Yeah.
It sounds like something that you'd... I don't know if you guys remember, I had a big thing here. I have one of these here now. I got to get that cut. I don't know what they're going to do with it. Next week I'm going to get rid of it.
Pulsar Light say, I may go to see Iron Maiden at the end of this month. Been 20 years since I saw them. Cool.
Oh, wow.
Noah says, I have one big concert in March. Backman and Backman in my hometown.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Nice.
Randy and his son.
Dog Groomer says, Rod Stewart had a great live album years ago called Absolutely Live, mostly unedited and included mistakes and all.
Really?
Cool.
Love that. I'd rather have that. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I love Kiss Alive. I still love it. Especially the first side. But, yeah, I don't mind. You know, you get older after a while, you're going to go, warts and all.
Transparent Media True said, just saw Waters in San Francisco.
Roger Waters.
Yeah, both nights, and have Whiskey Myers coming up in San Jose in November.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kitten Care, when you played New Age music on the radio, did you ever spin Cristofori Dream?
David Lawn's Cristofori's Dream. Yeah, it was based on the guy who invented the piano. And...
She said, Kitten says, I have an affinity for that CD and still play it to this day.
I've got it back here. Well, you can't see it because I have... what David Lawn's albums do I have? Is it Freefall? What's the one that came out? I think it's his second or third album. It's been so many years. But I have that one. It's solo piano. And I have Cristofori's Dream still. I think that's the only ones I actually still have. I have most of it, a lot of his hits. Well, New Age music didn't have hits, but I have a lot of his stuff recorded on DAT. I have a DAT player.
Sue Bealey says, hi, John and Shannon. Glad you're feeling better. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Brian says, do you listen to Gino Vanelli?
I was just listening to Brother to Brother, and I always say this when I listen to Brother, and I talk about it, Appaloosa. That first song.
Hike with Mike says Iron Maiden has aged very well, like a fine wine.
They
Still
really
rock
have.
and in good shape too.
Yeah. No, really, really. They're top notch. They put on a great show.
Claudia C, I'm happy to see you both up and feeling better. Thanks, Claudia.
Thank you.
CRISPR Talk, new Sid Barrett documentary coming out.
I just heard that today. Yeah, I just heard about it today.
Kim Trickle says, might go see the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Ah, I
Cool.
had an opportunity to have an interview with them in the, I don't know if it was the 80s or it's probably the 80s.
Kitten Care said, I saw Steve Roach in Tucson last month. He was very good along with Jeff. Pronounce that.
Oh, Grinky? I don't know who that. Steve Roach, of course, I know because of what's the name of that one? What's the name of that? Their big album, Steve Roach, Kevin Brahani, and then Kevin's name was taken off. One of their names, Desert. I can't believe it. Anyway, it's on Spotify, and on Spotify, it's all crackly. I don't know why. On Spotify, of all things, Desert something. Someone will come up with it.
Brian Johnson said that was the first and last time I saw Gino Vanelli was around 79, 80.
We saw him in Calgary, and he hung out with us at the end of the show.
It had to have been in 2010, maybe?
Yeah, I don't have my. If I had my phone here, I could show you the picture.
Noah says, please explain to anybody that doesn't know what a DAT player is.
A DAT's like a miniature. It's a digital tape. It's a miniature cassette. It's about this big. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. You talk to them, honey. I'll show them a DAT.
Okay. John Oakes says, hi, John and Shannon. Glad you're feeling better. Thank you so much, John. Rob says, just saw The Who. Incredible show. And Darren says, Bruce Dickinson recently dragged a stage invader off stage.
I saw that.
In California. The long-haired male fan gave the devil horns and was dancing about, and then Bruce took him off.
Took him off with no problems whatsoever.
Ooh.
When I went through a breakup, the last bad breakup that I went through before I met Shannon, it was in 92. Met Shannon in 97. I sold everything I had. Everything it was like I used to say that a snake sheds all of its skin when it sheds its skin. So I had this big garage sale, and I took most of my CDs, not all of them, and I converted them to DAT only with the songs that I like, and this is what I came up with. These are all DAT tapes.
Ooh.
So a DAT tape looks like this. It's tiny. There it is. Sound amazing. It's digital because it was right into the digital board at 14C Fun in Vancouver. And I've got rock, mostly jazz on here. I kept lots of my rock albums, so I didn't. And new age music, a lot of ambient. I love ambient music. Anyone who knows the Windham Hill label will know Scott Cassou. I've known Scott for years. He lives in Olympia, Washington. He wants me to do a channel on new age music.
Pulsar Light says Bruce Dickinson is like 5'7", not a really big man
No, he's
to be
not.
acting as a bouncer on stage.
Yeah, he's a pilot. He's genius. Very smart guy. Did a whole thing on him on the Rocky Street book.
Moro C, hi Moro. Going to see April Wine in early November.
Right on. Where are you going to see them? I'm curious. I was just talking to Brian Greenway the other day because he went to see the Symphonic Harmonium. For people who don't know harmonium, they were kind of like a Prague classical. I don't know. He interviewed Sayers, their main guy, a few years ago, and I asked him, "Hey man, do you know those guys?" But he didn't. But he went to the concert and really enjoyed it. Yeah, cool.
Hike with Mike. Bruce Dickinson is a Renaissance man. So many skills. Lead singer, professional
Crazy.
fencer, pilot, and now apparently after exiting a rowdy fan off stage, one heck of a bouncer.
No kidding, eh? Jeez.
Maddie K USA. Hey Maddie.
Maddie.
Cheers, John and Shannon. Galax Fighter. Hi from Sweden. Wow, welcome.
I love my favorite Swedish person. I've interviewed her many times. Beautiful blonde, of course. Johanna Salempa. She's a singer from Calgary. She used to always say, "I'm Johanna from Sweden," She didn't say it that way. I said because she knew I said it that way.
Michael Bills, any update on getting an interview with Tom Schultz of Boston?
He's hard to get a hold of, and I don't know if he'd want to talk to me. I don't. By the way, I don't take it personally. Usually, when an artist like who was it recently who said no, I don't think that's Orianthi, the girl that played with Michael Jackson near the end, and someone told me, said, what? Why would she talk to you? I'm going, I don't know. I don't care. She's great. I love her, and maybe next time. So that happens sometimes, and because you always get other things like getting Dennis Young reaching out to me for an interview. You'll get one of those things, or Steve Hackett, coming on and saying, "Hey John, how you doing? You looking well? How's it going? How you been?" Because I've interviewed him so many times. Or Rick Emmett from Triumph, who I've known for years. But those are few and far between because radio guys like to pretend they know rock stars. They like to pretend, and I didn't want to be one of those guys.
Maddie K says, saw Keith Urban in Savannah, Georgia last night. Oh my God, what a show.
Yeah.
I bet that was.
You would have
I
gone.
would love to have seen him. Transparent Media Truth said, want to see the war on drugs coming up in Marin County Sound Summit, but don't think we'll be able to make it.
Oh, I always thought that was a weird name for a band. But there's so many weird names for bands now.
Morrow C said just north of Toronto at the Richmond Hill Performing Arts Centre.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I had at one point every April Wine album signed. Every single one of them by Miles Goodwin, Jerry Mercer, their drummer who's not with them anymore, Brian Greenway, who's still with them, and Jim Clench, who passed away a few years ago. They're not original bass player, but they're second bass player.
Noah said, have you heard the new Pink Floyd Animals remix?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I would love to. I'm getting into, with Pink Floyd, I'm getting into listening to, because it's been years since the 80s I went through their stuff quite a bit. And of course in the 70s when I was in high school. But I'm getting into going back. I'm doing the same thing with Yes. Going back and listening to one album at a time. And really, when the Doors, No One Here Gets Out Alive, the Danny Sugarman book came out, I was reading it and I was getting to know the Doors albums. Like the first one from '67 with Light My Fire. I'd be going through every single one of them as I was reading about them and really breathing it in and putting the book down and waiting, that kind of stuff.
John Oakes says, John, did you ever interview Joe Walsh?
No, I'd like to, though. I'd like to. Seems like he'd be an amazing interview. Remember in the Eagles special, he said, when it's happening, it's like you're in the middle of this storm. It's all crazy. And then when you look back at it, what happened, it's like a fine-tuned opera, he says. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he said that. And I remember going, life is like that. Because when you're going through a breakup or a bad time, you're going, oh my God, I'm in the middle of a storm. But then you look back at it and you go, well, that made sense because I'm here. That made sense because I met her. Or, And it did make sense because I met her.
Maddie K says, No One Gets Out Alive was a great book.
Guys, I still have it. I still have that exact copy. I don't know where it is, but it's in this house. We gotta wind things up because
we do.
Our daughter will come down because Dan.
And it's time for her to play Scrabble in like 2 minutes, and she'll be coming down here.
She'll knock on the door
and letting us know that it's her phone time.
Yeah. By the way, and we are going to change the backdrop. I should do that this weekend.
Yeah.
And do a new one because we've been using that one. Look at right up. Oh, wait a minute. There's the Eagles right there between us. And that's old videos. There's Kid Rock on the right-hand side. What the heck? That guy always looks like he needs to have a shower.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. We so appreciate it. We're happy to be back.
Happy to be back. We didn't want to have title. We just wanted to come back because I haven't done things live for a little while because of my throat. I finally have my voice back almost 100%.
But next week we'll be back with
a topic.
The topic
thank
for
you.
the week.
Yeah, and thank you for anyone who wants to donate to the channel. There's a PayPal link. You can also join our Patreon. You'll have early access to all our videos, buy a T-shirt. But appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Take care.